following is a presentation of BFA Sports.
Football, for me personally, means a lot. I get excited every morning coming out here practicing with my team, and I just think that if I didn't have football, I wouldn't be as happy as I am now.
What football mean to me is like you gotta be compassionate, you gotta be physical, you gotta stay focused, always work hard. You always have to grind every day, make sure you stay fit.
Our guys, we put in a lot of effort, and coaches on us every day about effort, and we don't need to get talked to about our dedication. Everybody pretty much shows up when they need to show up, and they're all lifting, always doing their thing.
Practice is just like a game. Every time you gotta get to the field, do it hard. When you practice, it's just like a game. You gotta keep going hard, you gotta keep doing what you have to do, and just stay focused all the time.
Hammonton Blue Devils football returns this Friday as the Lancers take on the Blue Devils at Cary Stadium in Ocean City. It all starts at 1 p.m. Friday, August 25th, with live coverage from BFA Sports.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Coach's Show with Hammonton football head coach Jim Raso. And circumstances are what they are. We're doing this one a little remotely. I'm Chris Lozzi. Coach Jim Raso is with us as well. Hey, Coach, how are you?
Good. How you doing tonight?
We're doing well. Again, with the technology here, this is going to work just fine, though. And we're going to talk about playoff football. But before we do that, the season ends not the way you wanted it to end. It was a 3-game losing streak, but you have Ocean City and a tight game down to the wire. Some good things, though. Again, I mean, Josh Camargo has really emerged. So let's start with number 7.
Yeah, he wound up having that long run, which, we were just talking about that got called back. Then he wound up catching a nice pass for us, and taking it, a long distance. And then to respond back with the kickoff return. That's something that we've been preaching all year. It was the first one we had all year, which was good to see. And, we special teams we constantly been practicing, constantly been working on, and it was good to see us have some success there.
We talked last week specifically about what was one of the key goals for you to look for as the postseason approaches, and you said it was consistency. Did you find consistency last Friday?
I think we were trending in the right direction, and then, we made a couple mistakes that was helping us to lose games. At one point in the game, we were driving down there, and we had the ball, I think, about the 5 to 3 yard line, and we put the ball on the ground again, and that's a big turnover because you're at least thinking 3 points, hopefully 7. And next thing you know, you're coming away with nothing. And, against any team, whether it's Ocean City, Delsea, you cannot be doing that kind of stuff. And, that's the kind of stuff when we talk about being consistent in a good way, not consistent and turning the ball over, when we're down there with a chance to put points up on the board.
2 games previous to that were kind of one-sided. You were in a battle in the final game. Does that help you as you get into the postseason on Friday night?
Yeah, look, there's a lot that we could take away that we did better at and did a better job of. Obviously, number one is just, some of the effort. That's what we were talking about in terms of being consistent. And then, of course, being able to respond when things get a little tough. We started up, and then next thing we were down, and then we responded again, which was good to see. Not that you want to go down, but previous game we went down and we stayed down. So we fought that all the way to the end, and then unfortunately, we had a bad snap in our own end, and it turned out that, the punter had to go putting his knee down trying to field it. And, they had a very, very short field, and, one play got the ball in the middle of the field, and we knew they had a very good kicker. So, once that happened, the odds were in their favor at that point.
We're talking about Ocean City, the opponent last week. The final was 24-21. Your guys fought back. You gave up a late touchdown and then returned the kickback. As you mentioned, some other good play, though. I think the defense had some really good spurts and shutting them down on drives. And you're going to need that because guess what? You got the same opponent next week as Ocean City. It's a repeat of before.
Yeah.
Is the message out there that, we know now what we see and, we think we can be better prepared?
Well, in terms of whether you win or lose, it's tough to play the same team twice, and especially back-to-back weeks. So, you're going in, maybe certain things work that that they're going to prepare for, certain things that didn't work, that we need to prepare for, and you're going to get some change-ups between the two teams, and it's going to come down to, very simply, who's going to execute better. I said on the last show, they were in a similar boat. They play a tough schedule. They had a couple nice wins. They had a couple games that they were close in and came up on the wrong end. The same with us. If you go back, and this is 3 games now where we lost the game within the last minute of the game. You want to include Mainland, you want to include Timber Creek, and you want to include this game. And that's something that, we've been preaching to kids all week. And for a senior, you're running out of time. This is it. You don't get another shot at this. You get one chance of being 1-0. And this could very well be your last football game. If we don't find ways to be better at some of the things we need to be better at.
And truth be told, you really didn't have an idea of who the opponent was going to be the following week because it could have been a mixed bag. I mean, you could have had a wide variety of opponents. What was your reaction when the seedings came out and you did draw the Red Raiders again?
Well, like I said, we talked about that last week, how one of our assistant coaches is usually on the ball on it. There was 4 different scenarios that between after our game Friday up until, Sunday morning, we pretty much had a feel for who we were going to wind up playing. Right away told the kids there's not too many times in life that you get a chance to redeem yourself.
A do-over.
We would like to have seen what would have happened if we did get the punt off and the game went into overtime and see where it went from there. I said, well, here we are. We're starting the game over. So you guys wanted a chance at it. And, the football gods are giving you your wish. You're getting a chance for a do-over. And what we did wrong. We know what we did right. And it's going to come down to, we're evenly matched teams, going to come down to who wants it more, who's going to execute, and, who's going to make the play when a play needs to be made.
We're with head coach Jim Raso of the Hammonton football team. The Blue Devils will take on Ocean City in a playoff game. Before we get to our first break, you mentioned the punt at the end of the fourth quarter, which turned out to be a killer. It's just one of those things. It's a low snap, but for people who were watching and didn't understand, Drew Craig, the punter, went down to field a bad snap, and his knee was in contact with the ground when he had the ball. And that's, you hate to say it in that case, it was a good call, but like you said,
it was as soon as it happened. That's what I said, and and I know his natural. And we actually had a discussion about that, and his natural instincts being a baseball player is going down and fielding the ball, and right. And I know we go over those scenarios, but until you're actually in that situation, it's tough. It's a spur of the moment, have to make a quick reaction. And, we look at it and it's not like we don't practice. It's just something that happened. And, you can't say, okay, that's the reason why we lost the game, because we shouldn't have been in that kind of, predicament at the end of the game anyway.
When we come back, we'll dissect this playoff matchup a little deeper. We'll get into the trenches. We'll get into the matchups that Coach thinks that maybe he could take advantage of. It's Ocean City ×2 as the playoff edition of the Jim Raso Show continues. We're live here on BFA Sports.
The newest thing from Pizza Hut isn't pizza at all. It's cheesy, so crispy, loaded with toppings, and just $6.99. Enough for two, price for one. New Pizza Hut melts, just $6.99. I be like,
Well, the band sounds pretty good tonight, doesn't it? Welcome back to the Jim Raso Show. Here we're live on BFA Sports with head coach Jim Raso as we discuss the playoff matchup coming up against Ocean City, the Red Raiders. And if you will, it's a rematch of the Week 9 matchup in which Ocean City won 24-21. As is custom, day after, it's Saturday morning, you go and the first thing you do is you look at film, right?
Correct.
Okay. What was your Saturday film session like, and how revealing was that?
Yeah, it's basically breaking things down, and like I said, play by play, see what we did right, what we did wrong individually and as a group. Like I said, I thought we did some nice things at times, and then at times, we talked about this, trying to get everybody on the same page. Well, we come out, we get a stop on the first drive. Defense lets up a few plays, but then they tighten up. And then, we eventually go down and score, had a penalty, got one called back, but then one scored on the next play. And then forced another 3 and out and had a short field. And to me, that's where we didn't take advantage of the game at that point, because I think we were roughly around the 30, 35-yard line, got it somewhat down there, and then turned the ball over on downs. And, if you want to be a really good team, having a ball in a short field, that's when you need to punch another 7 in there. And then, you start getting to the other team in the mental aspect of it.
Some of the things in the film, I'm sure you saw some really nice play from Drew in the quarterback position in the short game. Screen passes were fairly effective. You think you can go back to that Friday night?
Yeah, listen, he's, like I said, we are very happy with things that he's doing, and we just want him to continue making the right reads, making the throws. There's times where our guys need to help him out, whether it's protection wise or whether it's catching the ball or, whether it's catching the ball and not committing a penalty. And that's all little things that, through the course of the year, we just haven't been consistent in. And, like I said, it's just trying to get some of that stuff cleaned up, but he's been doing an outstanding job for us.
Tough running the ball a little bit in that game, so kind of forced you to go into the air. But when you had success in the air, the running game did open.
It did. It opened up, and DeAndre Clements, number 10, wound up
off
on that one series. Yeah. And, like I said, it's unfortunate because he had a very good game overall, offensively and defensively. It's unfortunate, put the ball on the ground. And I know he was kicking himself for it. And, like I said, it's, that's just something that we've been trying to get him to be consistent and making sure he's taking care of that ball.
How about on the defensive side? Did you see something that you felt that they exploited that you know how coaches say, we're going to clean that up. So take us now to the playbook on defense. What do you think you need to clean up for Friday?
First and foremost, tackling. If you look at the long touchdown run that they
Kenny
had,
almost got him. Kenny almost got him.
well, there was also 2 or 3 other missed tackles before that. And that Jack comes with effort, and we do tackling stations. We this is day one stuff. There's just got to that right there. It's the play should have ended at most at a 5-yard gain, and our guys just sometimes think that they have things taken care of, and it's just giving that extra effort. And even on the angle, Kenny will be the first one to tell you, he probably could have taken a little bit better angle. He almost had him. But something as little as taking a little bit better angle, then maybe you do force him out and not putting it on him. We missed 3 other tackles before that. So, and that's not even a sense of something in the scheme. It was, we had guys there and we missed tackles.
Scouting report. I guess when you talk about the Ocean City offense, everything starts with Duke Gunther. What's your game plan for Friday?
Yeah, to me, I think their offensive line does a very good job up front in terms of what they're asking them to do. I thought the quarterback did a nice job in managing things and making some big throws. And then, it comes down to, they're 2 playmakers, number 5 and number 1. And, number 1 had the long run. Number 5 did a nice job running the ball. And then he caught a nice pass over the middle, which, again, in terms of where we're at positional wise on defense, we kind of let him inside, missed tackle, and he scored. So, in sense of scheme wise, we can always be better, but that comes down to basics. Where's our position at in terms of where we're lining up and how we're approaching, and then at the end finishing things off. And missing tackles isn't something, you can scheme all you want. If you're not going to make tackles, you're not going to stop somebody.
Are those 2 guys in particular, 5 and 1, are they guys that when they're on the field, you make sure that you account for them with whatever personnel you got?
Absolutely. 2 very, very good football players they have right there. And, they've been making plays all year against a lot of teams. And, they're big players, stepped up, made some big plays. And that's what we're trying to eliminate is the big play. When they had to drive the ball on us, in terms of not giving up the big play, I think we did a better job. But when we gave up the big play, they had success.
I'm smirking because I don't know if you hear the dog that's scratching the door. So maybe we should just let him in so we don't have any problems. There we go. So
luckily mine's laying down right now. So
he wants to be a part of it. But anyway, okay. So we talk about those things. How about on your side? As a coach, you're like, gee, I wish I can get them again. You got your wish. How you approaching that?
Yeah, it's just going back, looking at the tape and seeing, like I say, not to sit here and quote unquote beat a dead horse, but it's getting some little things cleaned up, in terms of execution. There's things that are there offensively and defensively, which I think we can do well. It's just something as simple as just getting somebody blocked or somebody tackled. That is coming down to basics 101, and that's something that we have to do a better job of, and eliminating turning the ball over. And if we can do that, I have all the confidence that we can be successful and can be a good football team. And that's what I was telling the guys today. We still haven't played our best 4 quarters. Right. You got an opponent, which, we both match up well against each other, and it's going to come down to which one is going to come out of it, with less mistakes.
Did you see that? That's the weather forecast for Friday. 78 degrees.
Oh, listen,
It was pretty
warm on the practice field today as well. So We kept telling the kids, oh, it's going to be warm. Make sure we're taking care of our bodies, make sure we're hydrating. Just because we're into the end of October still doesn't mean that you can't be cramping up and stuff. So you have to make sure you're taking care of yourself.
As Coffee always said, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. That should have started today, right?
Wise man right there.
Yeah. We'll come back with more of the Coaches Show with Jim Raso, and we'll talk about the intangibles and what is going to lead Hammonton to a first-round victory on Friday night. When we come back live on the Jim Raso Show here on BFA Sports. Welcome back to the Coaches Show with the head coach of Hammonton High School football, Jim Raso. I'm Chris Lozzi, live on BFA Sports. A little remote setting for this particular session, but nevertheless just as important as we get down to countdown to a playoff matchup, which is going to be right here live on Friday night on BFA. It's Ocean City, round 2. They are a 5th seed taking on the 4th-seeded Hammonton Blue Devils, which is why, Coach, you have the home field. What does that mean, and what plans do you have in store to make it a night that Ocean City will never forget?
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to be home. We had a nice crowd last week. It was homecoming. I would imagine we still have a nice crowd playoffs. Great support from the town, administration, the school. So, I told the kids, you should be thankful. And you should understand that there's a lot of teams out there that would trade with you in a heartbeat. There's a lot of teams that are going to wind up playing on Thursday night in a consolation game. I know all those teams would trade with you, in a heartbeat to be able to play in a playoff game. And we always try to tell the younger guys as well, you don't know if you're ever going to be in this predicament again. We're hoping that, history repeats itself and, we are in the playoffs, but you don't know what the future is going to hold. And so you got a chance now. Take advantage of it because you just don't know what the future holds.
What is important to note is that the home field at the high school level, and we have witnessed it, and you've been there a number of years, and you've seen it, can be a tremendous advantage. What is the atmosphere like before a playoff game at home? I remember we were there, and we called the Millville game, and if the parking lot was any indication, it's going to be a riot. And I mean,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, like I say, great support, and it's nice to be able to get into your own routine in terms of not having to get on the bus. We feed the kids, after school. We have our meeting. Yeah, they got time to relax in our locker room. We usually wind up showing them for home games. We'll show them some highlight tapes of some years past, and the kids love watching that and seeing some of the kids that came before them and how they handled situations, and they see them making plays and they want to go out there and make the same kind of plays to make sure that they wind up on their own highlight tape and for the team stuff, and that goes a long way, and it's like I said, it's just nice to be able to be in your own confines.
And thanks to a certain baseball team cooperating, we don't have to do anything about the time change. So we're on Friday night.
It's unfortunate. It's a shame, that I would never have thought that, coming home and being up 1 with 2 to go, that, especially with the home field advantage that they have shown, that would have wound up happening. Again, it comes down to basics. I'm not claiming to be a baseball guru, but those who pitch well and hit well are usually the ones that are going to win the game. And that's just like football. Those who execute and those who tackle are the ones who are going to win the game.
And that's kind of where I was going with it, because, as much as the home crowd can be an advantage, it's up to you guys to keep them off
You
of
still have to go out there and execute. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah. So we want to thank all our sponsors, first of all. I don't think we got a chance to really do that. Asphalt Paving Systems, Ricky Moriello with Remax, D'Amico Travel, our good friend, who actually gave us some T-shirts. I don't know if you got your T-shirt that night.
Oh, yeah, all of them, very, very strong supporters of the program, and not just on behalf of BFA, but thank you from the football program itself, because we're very, very thankful that they stepped up.
Officer Cugnali, of course, and the Blue and White Gridiron Club. I mean, it's a great atmosphere. It's a great environment, and we really enjoyed our first full season of coverage. And we hope you go as far as you can. And we'll be there starting on Friday night. It's going to be 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. We're not changing it.
7 o'clock.
Live here on BFA, and I'll be on the call. So join us for then. Coach, as you do this show every week and you watch and you get the feedback and you have an opportunity right now, what are you telling the Hammonton faithful? The floor is yours. What are you going to tell them?
Number one, just want to thank everybody, for everybody who's, supporting the team through the good and the bad, and like I said, you never wanted to envision, ending the season the way that it ended. But, the kids are putting their work in. It's not a lack of effort. It's, we got to do a better job in terms of execution and just trying to get the faithful out there and pack the stands up. And, we can always use all the support we can get. And I know the kids appreciate it. The coaches do. And on behalf of the whole program, we just want to thank everybody.
Well said. I also want to recognize Pizza Hut as well as a contributing sponsor to Hammonton.
Absolutely.
And of course, D. Donato Family Fun Center. We love going there. And regardless, we're going to be there next week with another edition of the Jim Raso Show. We hope that we'll be previewing a round 2 matchup. So
you and me both.
Playoffs for Friday. Good luck. It's Ocean City once again. They come right back a week later. They're in Hammonton. It's the first round of the NJSIAA Playoffs, and we've got it live here on BFA. So, Coach, thanks for joining us as always.
Thank you.
For the entire crew, Doug Stasic behind the screen, producing everything here. I'm Chris Lozzi. We'll see you Friday, and go Blue Devils.
You got it.
Oh, camera couldn't make it.